What's up guys, Riley here, and today we're kind of going to be troubleshooting the problems we had in the last video with the Bronco. So, for today's video, we've got two upgrades and some tuning to do. So, in the last video, we had problems with the pinion slipping on the motor. That was, I think, one of the main problems. After I had gotten that one fixed off camera after the video, I stripped out the transmission. So that'll be one of the things we're changing in it. We've got some chassis set up to do. I'll be showing you guys some things I've done to the chassis, and maybe tweak a few more things, try and make it a little bit nicer. And then we do have something to kind of help the axle droop, because we keep losing our front drive shaft when we drive. So that kind of sucks because we don't have upgraded drive shafts yet. But we're definitely going to have to get some because this thing has a ton of droop. This is with rubber bands on it, but the reason I'm getting something to replace those is because the rubber bands don't let it flex like it needs to. So we're going to be checking out some new Little Guy Racing parts. And just for today's video, the parts we're going to be doing are going to be their limiting straps. For the front, these are the aluminum ones. They do have a brass option. It's a little bit heavier, but it is small, so it's not a ton of weight. And then we do have the Little Guy Racing parts billet transmission. I can't wait to get into this. It looks really nice. Comes with two plastic pinion gears for your motor also, which is pretty cool. I don't need those. I've already got one. But it is what it is. Let's go ahead and actually tear into these two things we have. As always, I never have my knife out. Alrighty. So for the, oh, there it is. So this looks really nice. I'll explain how this works in a minute. Hopefully it'll fit this, not too sure, hopefully. But it looks pretty good. I don't know exactly how it goes on, but I do have an idea of how it goes on. Got our, what they call O-rings, but our little rubber bands, different lengths and such. And then our transmission, which is going to be probably my favorite. I love getting transmissions in. Here is the transmission. Wow, they even grease it up for you. That's awesome. Alrighty, so looking at both the transmission and the transmission cover, they definitely did good on these. The transmission feels super nice. There's no play in anything actually, which I have noticed in stock in the Mofo RC transmission. There's a little bit of play in them, but this has nothing, so hopefully we won't have to worry about that. Definitely some nice weight. It'll be somewhat down low, kind of in between. The machining looks really good on this. The back is super smooth. But man, doesn't that look good? I can't wait to get the transmission in. That means we're not going to have to worry about the transmission stripping out with the brushless power, especially with 3S and maybe 4S. Alrighty, so getting into the limiting straps. So if you can see this little piece right here, this is aluminum. It actually looks really good. I love the color. The color matches the Ghost Speed locks, which is cool. This actually connects to the servo mount, and the little teeth on it will actually sit flush on the servo. I'm not too sure if you can see that, but the little teeth on it will sit on the servo, and the little rubber bands, I'll pull these out real quick. You can choose different sizes. It looks like they've got two of each size, which is super nice. Comes with the hardware, so definitely don't lose that. So here we go. Got these little O-ring style rubber bands. They're not like super stretchy, really. And the reason being is this is going to be in the center of your servo. So this is just going to keep it from drooping. You're not going to have to worry, you shouldn't have to worry about it keeping it from flexing because it's in the center and it's going to act as a pivot point kind of where it's at. if I'm explaining this right. But this is going to go here, and then this right here will go under that little tooth, and then the servo will block it from coming out. Obviously I don't have it on, so it's pushed forward and such, so I can't exactly show you, but let's see if I can throw it on the back one. Yep, there it is. It really can't come out as long as you've got it on. As you can see, I'm pulling behind it and such, and it's not going to come out. So that's how that works. I can't wait to try out this. And another reason I got the transmission is because mine rounded out completely so that it wiggles. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and we'll see if we can get this limiting strap to work. Alrighty, so I have got the Little Guy Racing Parts limiting strap all set up, and me doubling up the big one is actually perfect because look at the difference in droop now to where it was like that. Now it's way better. As you can see, we shouldn't have any more problems on the go with the drive shaft for the most part, but not too bad. It was a pretty easy install, and then tuning really took nothing. It took 5 minutes to figure out what I needed. Most of the time you can just take the strap, figure out where you're gonna hook it up top, and then just kind of like feel it out. But yeah, that's about what I did to test it out, and it went pretty good. I had to change it one time, but yeah. So now we're actually gonna tear into the transmission. So we're gonna get our 900 milliamp hour Orgenix battery. Discount code down below for those if you go pick out some batteries for you. They've got two batteries, a 450 milliamp hour and a 900 milliamp hour. Both great batteries. I've got both of them. Pretty good runtime. I love the 450s. I run them in my C10. And so yeah, definitely go check Orgenix out. Awesome brand, awesome people. They can ship these things to you super fast. But yeah, let's get into this transmission. Alrighty, so 2 screws and we are out. Now I just need to unplug the motor and we will be good. There we go. Alright, so I've got the transmission setup out. We're going to have to take drive shafts off and motor mount off. So I'll go ahead and get into that. Alrighty, so here I have the whole transmission setup along with the motor, and it all came together really good. Super clean, all Little Guy Racing Parts, which is pretty cool. Now I just need to install the drive shafts and get it on the truck. Alrighty, so here we go. I've got the transmission set up and everything, and goodness does it look good. Everything fit together really good. Really nicely, nice and snug. As you can see, it's in there tight. Everything fit good. Didn't have any problems in that area, and it just looks great in there. Now, I've got some trimming to do in the rear to get some clearance because it rubs really bad, if you remember in the last video. And we got to we may try and figure out something with our rear rubber band, because there isn't a limiting strap for a rubber for the rear yet. Would be cool to see if Little Guy Racing Parts makes one, but not sure. So I am going to go over the little setup I've got here. So this is 3D printed, but I'm running the stock chassis on the SCX24, and I ended up taking the battery tray out. I 3D printed a full tray. As you can see here, it's all one piece. It connects where the stock battery tray would. So it's a cool little setup. The ESC Velcro's on, as you could see, just like this, as long as I've got everything out the way. Like that, ESC, on, off, whatever. And my Dinky RC ESC right here. And then now I can actually fit my Erginix 900 milliamp hour battery, which is exactly what I wanted. Now I do want this to be a little more LCG, low center of gravity, as you could hear it just cut on. I want a little more low center of gravity, so definitely going to be tweaking this, maybe trying out a new design, but somewhat similar. I'm not going to be able to get my battery up front, it's just too big, and with that forward-facing motor, it just doesn't give enough room up front. But yeah, pretty cool setup going on. The shocks, I don't know if I did it in the last video, but the shocks are basically flat on the chassis, on the battery mounts, and on the front battery mount spot and the rear C-tray mount spot, so they're laying pretty flat. But yeah, that's about all I've done to it so far. I did trim the fenders on the inside a little bit so they're smooth. They did have like a little lip. But yeah, I gotta cut the bumper and a little bit of the rear fenders and we'll see how it does. Alrighty, so there we go. I did cut up the rear end a little bit. I cut the bumper down shorter so it sits flush with the body and not the fenders, and then I did angle the fenders in a little bit. It still rubs, but after all those upgrades, we need to take it out on the course and truly see if they did anything. So before we go on the course, one thing I forgot to mention is when the shaft was, or the pinion gear was slipping on the shaft of the motor, I messaged Little Guy Racing Parts and they said that when you have a plastic press-on gear for one of these, you do have to dab a little bit of super glue on it. So I did that and we're gonna see how it does. Now, as you can see, she's flexing pretty good. We are touching all four. This is a 4-inch ramp. Obviously, we're about 3.5, maybe 3 3/4, something like that. I think we're definitely going to have to go wider to get the full 4 inches. As you can see, pretty close. Not too bad. That's probably the best flexing rig we've got so far. Everything else is running 48s and 43 millimeter shocks, but not too bad. Let's go ahead and get it out on the course. Alrighty, so we're gonna go ahead and start off strong. We'll start over here. Beautiful slow crawl, as you can see. We still got lift. See if we can come over through the side. Pretty vertical line for this truck, especially now that that 900 milliamp hour battery's in the rear. Doesn't look like we're gonna make it. We'll give it one more try. Alrighty, vertical number 2. It's pretty hard getting up onto this just to start. There we go. Not doing too bad. We're definitely lifting up. I think that rear battery mount is really hurting us. Ooh. I don't think we've got it. As you can see, that's about all it's gonna unload. So it's doing pretty good on unloading of the shocks. Definitely way better than before. Oh yeah. That flex is really helping it. Get a slow crawl so we can choose our line way better. So really walking over in the rear. Can we save it? Oh, so close. Try again. Stay up over to the top a little more. And man, super slow crawl. Get a little tire wiggle. Boom, right over it. Super smooth. Definitely got to choose the right line with this truck, but once you get that line, it really just goes. As you can see, we're not having a problem with our pinion. We've been doing some pretty decent lines. We're not having any slippage of the pinion gear. Beautiful flex. I've never gone back this way with this truck. Pretty close. Let's go ahead and move on. Alrighty, so the rear drive shaft did eat the rubber band in the rear. So we aren't running a rubber band, but it already wasn't doing anything. And I changed the battery up, hoping to get it a little bit farther forward. So now it's almost over top of the motor, which I can show you guys in a minute. Beautiful slow crawl. I just love having brushless. Definitely gonna have to go brushless in more vehicles now. Right up it, super sticky tires. I like these super swampers. Alrighty, coming through here. This is truly test the clearance of the portals. As you can see right there, the rear kind of unloaded, but not too much. Don't have to worry about it. Pretty close. There we go. Looks like it went where we wanted. We're struggling pretty hard right here. There we go. Just got to grab the right line. Boom. Alrighty, test ramp. Uh-oh. Oh, there we go. Just that bottom super slick. As you can see now, we're fine. Get a slow crawl right on up it and up the wall. Gonna take it easy. Don't want to flip it over again, down it like we did last video. But there we go with that. Now that we have a different setup with the battery and all, maybe we have a way better shot on this. Oh, not as bad, but it's definitely still crab walking, but nowhere near as bad. Before it was probably about like this, walking down it or walking across it, and I had to straighten it out. So that's pretty good. Alrighty, so we have 3S in it now, running a Mofo RC 3S battery, and it's pretty quick. There's the slow crawl on it, which is crazy good. Still on 3S, it's got a super smooth slow crawl, which is usually a problem with slow crawl. And 3S is, the 3S usually really messes up the slow crawl, but as you can see, it is doing just fine. Definitely way more snappy, as you can see. I did that there, I was just giving it some throttle, but definitely a lot more snappy. Still crazy smooth. Has plenty of power. Slow crawl over the rock. Right on over. It does not care. We got a good line that time, as you can see. Not too bad. But now that we actually have... Alrighty, so now that we have a smaller, more lightweight battery and a little more juice, maybe she'll attempt the crawl. Oh my goodness, she's got some power. Got a feeling we're not gonna get it. Nope. Mighty close on this one. Almost there. We'll set her on over at the side. Tuck that rear end back in. Love the slow crawl. Don't think we're gonna get it. She is still sliding. Oh, there we go. We kind of came at it at an angle, and she got it done. Pretty close to doing donuts. Almost. Not there yet, but. Alrighty, so there we go. The Bronco has definitely made a big change today. Obviously, we're spitting out drive shafts in 3S. That's just because it's got so much power. This creeper motor is super smooth, and paired with that Dinky RC ESC, it is crazy good. The Dinky RC really controls that 3S slow crawl, where usually in the Fury Techs and stuff, on our trucks, when we bump it up to 3S, it'll be the slow crawl won't be as good. It'll still be pretty good, but not as good, where this, it's practically the same, which is absolutely crazy. So trimming the body, I think, definitely helped. When driving, it wasn't like grabbing the rear fenders, so I definitely noticed a big difference there. And with the dual springs in the rear is a lot more, just as you can see there, it's not like it it's not like it's super bouncy, so that's actually pretty cool. Definitely gonna have to get some rubber bands in there so it doesn't do that. But the front, I really love the little guy racing parts piece right here. That was definitely a game changer, along with the rear setup with the battery and ESC tray. But we're definitely either going to try a new chassis or just a better chassis setup for this. But we'll see what it brings us. Thank you guys for watching. All the parts will be down below. It was only 2 parts. But like I said, thank you for watching. Hit the notification bell, like, subscribe, whatever you guys feel comfortable with, and I will see you in the next video.